Happy Wednesday, everyone. It feels a little bit like deja vu. Yes. We're going to see here now. Hopefully, Miss Jade will come on here. We'll be able to get this going. So apologies for those who were on and we had to cut you off. We are going a take two here. So let's have a little look to see who is coming on. And that, so anyhow, as I was saying, there's Jade showing up. I'm going to go bring you on camera. Let's have a look. Bring Jade on. Adding. Look at all these lovely faces I can see at the moment. Oh, I've got it connecting this time. Woohoo!
Oh my God.
Technology.
I've never talked to my phone for so long. I was like, I'm here.
I can actually feel your presence on the other end. I'm
so funny.
Going, adding. I'm loving all these faces. So huge welcome back, and thank you for joining us. To Kirsty and Kayla and Caitlin and Tess and Erica and Garth and Tony, and oh, look at all these beautiful faces that are here. That's awesome. Yay. Oh, thank you, darling. I really appreciate it. So what part of the world are you currently in?
I'm in Perth at the moment. I was home for one of my oldest friends got married, so I'm here until Tuesday and then off to London.
There you go. Awesome. You're traveling as much as I am at the moment. It's like we got to check in where we're going kind of thing. So let's have a little look. I'm seeing all these beautiful hellos and all that kind of thing. Hey, Kirsty. Hey, Tess. Hey, Tony. Hey, Lara. Linda. Awesome. Fantastic. Well, excuse my husky voice here. I'm just doing a little bit of recovery on them. Yeah, so anyhow, but we will get through. It just makes it easier for you NMDs. It just means I'm a little bit quieter, but anyhow, for a change. But we've been starting off these NMD lives with the first question is, so how long have you been in Juice Plus and how long have you been a National Marketing Director?
Okay, so I started in September of 2014. So this year in September will be my 6th year anniversary, which is crazy. It's gone so fast. Yeah.
Gosh, it does not seem like 6 years. Wow.
I know.
That's awesome.
I know. I'm 29 this year, so I'm like, oh my gosh, this is 6 years. That's actually happened. Yeah. Time flies.
Wow. There you go. That's awesome. That's fantastic. And how long have you been a National Marketing Director now?
I was trying to work this out and I couldn't figure it out. I think I did NMD kind of just under my first 2 years, maybe somewhere between a year and a half, 2 years. So yeah, a couple of years now.
Yep. Awesome.
About half that time. Yeah.
So at least 3 years plus as an NMD. Yep. Cool. Fantastic. And that journey has seen you do many things. And I know that you've had a roller coaster of life as people do, and a roller coaster of business. But one of the most important things is you've stayed in the game. You've stayed very committed to what you are. And one of the things that I did notice, it may come up in your lessons that you've shared too, but I noticed that when you really owned who you were and when you got really clear on who you were attracting, and that there was definitely a shift in what you were doing. And that was where you really stepped into your identity. You were part of a bigger tribe, but when you stepped into your identity, I did notice a shift for you. And as I said, you may speak to this in the lessons, but these are just some of my observations of that. But, you very much, even over the last few years where you have been traveling and doing business as well, you have very much taken this business on the road with you and created some systems which have made you continue to be able to build, which I've loved. But I also know too, there's been lots of learnings on the journey, and there's been lots of interesting times for you, is how we might put them, and you've stayed the course. So I'm sure you've got a couple of lessons you'd love to share with the team today.
Definitely, I'd love to. And I'll definitely talk to some of those points too, because they're so true. And it's so funny, even hearing them, I'm like, gosh, there's a million more I could think of. And it's so beautiful watching all the NMD stories and, watching back all of the others. I've really enjoyed that. But, we all have this unique path and these like one of a kind, experiences, yet it's kind of like we're all walking in the same direction. So many of the lessons are so similar. I literally sat there like nodding my head the whole time.
Yeah.
Just like, yep,
I know.
yep.
Totally. Sure.
But the first thing the probably one of the biggest lessons for me, and one of the lessons that I have to learn and relearn like every other week, sometimes it feels like, but definitely at least once a year I kind of catch myself relearning, is I guess deciding really early on. For me, this happened, but like I said, I keep relearning this, but deciding which voice you're committed to listening to. And I think for me that was so important, because I mean, in my experience and with the girls that I work closely with, I find that all of us have these two voices in our heads. And one is like, you know, I like to kind of identify with it as my inner mean girl. And I remember reading or listening to Melissa Ambrosini's book, Master Your Inner Mean Girl, and I was like, exactly, that's the person that I deal with every single day. And you know, you can choose to listen to that voice, and that might be the doubtful, the pessimistic, the can I actually do this, the voice that kind of wants to keep you really safe and not kind of, you know, hide under the bed and not really go for anything, and that maybe kind of always paints the worst case scenario of anything, which is so ridiculous, but that seems to be for a lot of us when we first start, especially, and you haven't been in the Juice Plus bubble for a while. That's kind of like our default. Or you listen to what I call my Oprah voice, and it's like that little voice that's just like such a little badass, and you could do this, and anything's possible. And it's really that what if voice that I often don't, you know, like listening to sometimes, because it's the voice that challenges me to grow and makes me kind of do the things that sometimes aren't the easiest or aren't the most comfortable. But I think actually deciding, like really consciously deciding which voice you want to listen to and which voice you're committed to listening to, and then where you need to reaffirming that along the way. Like sometimes I have to stop myself and be like, which one am I picking? Like, which voice am I actually listening to? And then it allows me to just drown out the other one and go, okay, let's move forward, which has been huge for me. And then every time I go back to that spot, it's just, instead of, you know, it kind of reminds me of, there's like an old fable, and I never do anything justice when I try and recreate a story, but the basis of it is that we have these two wolves, and the boy asks his granddad, well, you know, which, you know, only one can live, and which wolf like survives, and he says it's the one that you feed. And so I think it's the same situation when you decide which voice, whether it's your inner mean girl that you're going to let, you know, reign supreme, or it's that inner Oprah voice that you know you have in there, deciding which one right from the get-go that you choose on this journey to really tune into and listen to, then affects everything, because that's then the rituals that you plug into, that becomes the people you spend time with and what you listen to, and you know, what you do for your health even, and your nutrition, and every single day how you show up then is affected either way, because you're either having like a regular pity party, or you're just like striving and soaking up and moving forward. So that's probably been the underlying pinnacle kind of lesson for me in my journey, is just, and that's then affected and given me the confidence to decide to just kind of like step outside of the line and create what it is that I'm creating, and have the confidence to really be myself in the business.
Yeah, I love that. I really do. You know, again, it's I hear this so many times, like you can read it sometimes when you're having a coaching call with someone, and you can tell by the language they're using as to which voice they are actually listening to. And it's really interesting. But I love how you put that, you know, are you going to listen to the mean girl voice, or are you going to listen to the Oprah voice? You know, everybody loves a bit of Oprah, and that too. And I'm doing a course at the moment with on Brené Brown stuff. And of course, she talks around that whole shame and vulnerability and all the rest kind of thing. And same thing, like when you step into the arena, who are you wanting to listen to? Are you going to listen to the shame voice that tells you you're not good enough, you can't do it, and all of that kind of thing? Or are you going to, you know, step into that courageous and actually, you know, move forward in that? And it's the same thing. So again, for each of you that are listening to this, either live or later on, think about what Jade just said. You know, which voice are you actually allowing to show up? And I love that story as well. I've heard it many times, and it is so powerful, because you know, we both have the good wolf and the bad wolf. Which one are we going to feed? That's the one that will grow. So the more we allow ourselves to speak negatively to ourselves, or that mean girl show up, you know, the more that they will take control. Or do we want Oprah? Hey, we all like Oprah, so which is good. Awesome. What's the next point, Jade?
Okay, so the way I see this business is that it's an energy game. Like, we all have vibrations, everything is vibration. And so for me, it became about really owning the energy that I bring to the business and that I have around it, and making sure that I'm in total alignment with it so that I can attract people to that. And so there's two things that factor in for me. One is about making it more than, like, make it about more. And for me, this was when I kind of think I really like drew a line and in the sand, and, you know, really started to be cool with being myself in the business and bringing my just being me, really. And I think for so long I was kind of hiding behind that. So making it about more and really creating culture in your team and having this community and this real essence that is just so you, that your business just becomes an extension of you. So it's not something you have to, like, I mean, of course you always work at it. It's something you're passionate about, but it's something that you want to be involved in every day because it's part of who you are. And for me, when I started, I was flat out. I was working corporate, I was studying, I was trying to start a traditional business, personal training. It wasn't that I was looking for another business. It was that I fell head over heels for the community and the culture and being part of something so vibrant. And I loved the women. Like, I remember when I met my upline, Tracy, and I was just like, I just want to be friends with you. Like, how do I spend more time with you? And if I have to build a business to do that, awesome. You know, and I just fell in love with showing up to events because I loved how they made me feel. And then it became contagious because then it was like, if this is how I'm feeling, then I can help other people feel like this too. And so all my girlfriends came along because I was like, you just need to see these people and meet them and be amongst this. And that's how my business grew so fast in the beginning. I think it was honestly because it was about more than a business. It was about this whole vibe and this energy that drew me in. And I think on tough days and when life's busy, because we all have things come up, it's that keeps me going. It's that makes me show up. It's that gets me so excited about going to events and wanting to invite people to things, because I know that when they get there, they're going to leave happier. They're going to leave more loved up, more excited, with having experienced more. So for me, when I was, you know, whether you call it branding or, you know, kind of really consciously looking at the vibe and what I was creating, it was really important to me to kind of ask myself, what kind of organization do I need to create to feel proud of? You know, like, what kind of vibe, how do I want people to leave feeling? How do I want people in my team to feel when they interact and spend time and work on their business? And that was such a big integral part. And I guess when I was looking at who I wanted to work with, and the reason I think it's so easy to travel with my business is because that vibe is then part of me. It just goes with me wherever I go. But it was about what's missing in my tribe's life, and how can I embody that, and how can I create that? So if they're missing fun, if they're missing, you know, maybe your tribe is like busy mums that are missing connection or adult conversation, like, how can you have that energy in your business so that becomes something they're really attracted to and that they then get to be part of, rather than just make it like numbers and figures and, you know, sales. You've got to make it about something more, because you want it to be that, you know, second home, and that people always want to fall into rather than run away from. So that was massive for me, keeping the culture alive.
I think it's such an important one. I only mentioned to somebody this morning, actually, that one of the things that, because, you know, she was just talking about that she'd gone along to an event and it was kind of a long time between drinks. She was saying, oh, you know, how excited she felt and we must do that more often. And I said, you know, honestly, I said, that was the reason why, you know, back in the day, I would travel an hour and a half every Monday night to go to my event, because it was about the culture. It was about the community. It was about staying close to the fire. And many of the NMDs have actually said something similar. They might have described it about staying close to the fire or whatever, but it's the same thing. It's creating a culture and a community of people that actually want to hang out together like that. They fill a gap. More and more people will stay in our business because of the culture and community than they ever will for the money. And we kind of, you know, sometimes people will say, oh, is that, but you think about it, you've got a tribe around you. You've got a group of people that have got your back no matter what. It's not just about business. When you're going through the tough times, you've got a family that literally wrap you up and are there to cheer you on and encourage and support. But we've got to be proactive in creating that. And it's one of the reasons why that I do really support and encourage not only the online events, but also the live events when you can do them, is actually kind of people physically getting together too, because there's an even closer kind of transfer of energy that happens when you're physically in a room with someone. You can give them a hug or whatever. It is quite interesting. So I love that. It's looking at how can you continue to attract the people into your tribe that are on your, that same kind of energy, want the same kind of things, but also to how can you proactively create a culture within your team that is something that you are proud of. And I love how you said that you wanted to create an organization that you were proud of as well. It's great. Cool. All righty. What's the next one?
So, I mean, on the back of that, I think it's really easy to say, okay, so I want to have all this energy around it and this is the kind of thing I want to have. But for me, it was realizing that if your business is up to you, like you can't try and do it someone else's way or feel like you have to fit into a certain pair of shoes to do this. Actually, the more you that you show up as, the better. And so for me, it was figuring out, what do I love about this business? What are the things that light me up so much and that I would do every day and can lose time doing? And then making sure, because you have to do a lot of things. You can't just do the things you like, of course, but making sure that the things that you do love and that where like your absolute soul calling, where you're just like pumped about them, that you're doing that every single day somehow. So if you are obsessed with creating content and you love posting and you love taking amazing pictures of your capsules, and like make sure that there's an element of your day where you get to live that. Or if you're obsessed with customer care, make sure that you spread yours out across the week rather than do it on one block day, so that you're getting all these amazing testimonials back and stories back and your heart's so full, and then that energy carries out and brings you more of that. So for me, whether that's you love recruiting team or you love recruiting clients, doesn't matter, but make sure every day, whatever you're obsessed with in the business, whatever your favorite part is, that you find a way to embody that and to create that and to be playing in that area. Just at least for a little bit of your day, make that part of your DMO, because that will shift how you feel about your business. I spent so long not doing the elements that I loved because I was trying to fit into a certain mold that I'd created for myself, or, the things we do sometimes. Yeah. And the minute I gave myself permission to just actually be a big love bug and be all about inspiring people and want to connect all day and talk on Messenger all day long and actually spend more time online than in person for me so that I could travel, like the minute I gave myself permission to do that, everything changed and I fell in love with my business 10 times more. And I think, it's such a growing journey. You hear it all the time. It's such a roller coaster of figuring out who you are and learning to fall in love with who you are and what's important to you. And, things change. I've got girls in my team having babies now for the first time. And so, of course, they grow in that as well. And so you've got to be okay that your business is going to evolve like that too, and being open to letting it go with you on that journey, and having and really being clear about the elements that you love, I think makes it all the more easy, because then you can focus on having a little bit of that every single day, and the rest then you have the energy for and you have the enthusiasm for. And I don't know, it's just tied together really nicely for me, being able to focus on that.
No, absolutely. I actually remember when you started to go on this journey, I remember the whole time where you were going through and you did the values exercise, you really worked on what was important to you, what were the values that were really, really important to you. I remember you creating your avatar and describing, going through those exercises and describing exactly, who that person will be, where they would hang out, what they would actually be into, and that, and again, you got super, super clear on it, so that you then were able to do everything that was energetically going to attract those people into your life. And so it's a real hint for people who are watching, who may not be sure. You might be kind of going, well, I'm not really sure, who I'm appealing to or whatever like that. Do the exercises. Now on the Leadership Academy and platform, there is some great exercises there around being able to do your values and work out what they are, get really, really clear on that, getting clear on who your ideal, person is in your team. Who is it you're wanting to attract? Where would they hang out? What did they do? And it becomes then that you actually get to live life that way. And like you say then, if there are parts of, because there will be parts that we don't like doing, you know, that's just the way it is. And there will be parts where we're just not naturally inclined to, but we are running a business, so we kind of got to do those parts too. But I love what you say about pick the parts that are really joyful for you, that bring you joy, and sprinkle them through the day or throughout the week, so that you're always kind of coming back to that nice space of it as well, which is cool. Awesome. Yeah. Love that. Love that. You got another one for us?
Yeah, so I was just thinking about what you're saying. I'm like, yeah, I remember having that phone call with you and going through all of that and being so okay with, you know, not having all my ducks in a row and not trying to be perfect, and actually being like, do you know what, the girl gang is for the girl that is figuring her stuff out and is on that journey and is just trying to get through life in the most graceful way possible and pick up on the lessons, and you know, so that's really a nice reminder, actually.
Yeah, it's cool. It was very cool.
Yeah, I think this one is epic, and I'm pretty sure people have touched on it probably a million times. I'm still getting through. I think I've listened to like 80% of these calls, but I think for me, and I still am literally talking to myself as I'm sharing this right now, because I was laughing at myself yesterday for this, but don't be so serious. Like, this is supposed, and it's a business, and I get that, and I, you know, treat it like a business, hands down, but like, have fun with it. Like, far out. I think one of the biggest lessons I learned in yoga, and one of the reasons I have to go to yoga to keep my sanity and to actually not go absolutely mental, but one of the biggest things I learned was to practice with what they call ahimsa, and it's actually practicing with loving kindness. And I'm so guilty of being so harsh on myself and having such high standards, and they serve me in a lot of ways, because it's the reason I'm still here, and I'll never not do this. You know, like, I refuse to ever let anything go like that I'm passionate about. But at the same time, it's so important to be nice to yourself on this journey, and to actually reframe failure and be okay that there's going to be face down moments, and there's going to be challenges, and there's going to be days where you think, I'm absolutely nailing this, and there's going to be days where you're like, what the heck is my deal? Why can't I get this right? What's going on? But actually just being really okay with that. And I think when I look back at my journey to SDVF, and I always reflect on it, because I'm like, that was so much fun, and I was so lighthearted, and I was so confident, and I was so okay with, you know, what I was up to, and so focused on other people and helping other people. I wasn't listening to that mean girl at all. And I think it was because I just wasn't being too serious. I was having fun with it. And so if I could ever like write myself a note on the daily to remind myself, or go back in time to some of my biggest challenges and just whisper, like, be kind, it's okay, it's just a little fork in the road, have fun through it, I think it would just totally transform everything.
I think, you know, you are so right, because I think there are times when we look back and we kind of go, oh my gosh, why was I so serious? Why was I so hard on myself? And that there are those times that really, guys, our business is not a life and death business. Okay, it really isn't.
It's amazing.
At the end of the day, I know, if we stuff up a call, we stuff up a call. There's going to be another one. It's okay if we drop something, if we, you know, give the wrong information, you go back and you go, you know what, actually, I just rechecked that. And, you know, there's so much of what we do that really and truly in the whole scheme of things is not life or death. So I love what you do say. It is about, absolutely, it is a business, and there are some things that we've got to do. Yet we know that. However, you can still have fun along the way. You can still make sure that you're sprinkling those, you know, bits of joy in your life, that you are looking at, you know, how can it be fun? How can it be fun? And that. So
I feel like
I'm actually gonna, after this call, I'm gonna lie down here on the floor with my legs in the air, because my naturopath told me to, and I'm sure there's going to be some of the team that are going to be laughing at me. So I will be bringing joy to their day.
I always just think, like, it can be a push and a struggle and a stress, and you can fight it, or you can actually just go, okay, this is going to be like shit hard and crazy, but I'm gonna like have fun with it and flow with it, and it's changed everything for me. I remember being such a little stress head in school, and I totally attacked this business the same way, but then like by default. But as soon as I remind myself and just go back to like, okay, so this is the challenge, or this is what's going on, let's have fun with this, let's focus on what's important. And like you say, it's not a life and death thing, it's actually the most beautiful business ever, and if you let yourself, it can be the most amazing fun.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So we look at what Jade shared with us today. If you think about it, like, you know, which voice are you going to listen to was where we started today off with. You know, are you going to listen to the mean girl voice, or are you going to listen to the Oprah voice, or whatever it is that you choose to name them, and that. But I think that's really quite cool. And that, so, you know, what is it that you're actually going to do, and what voice are you going to, and I think that's internal and external. I would also put a little caveat there. Remind yourself who you're hanging out with as well. Are they people that actually want to kind of raise you up or keep you small? So both internally and externally, be mindful of that. Also, just remember too that this is about community. It is about creating the culture that you get to be able to attract. Its energy games. So being really, really mindful of that as well, I think is awesome. And don't be so serious. Add some fun into the mix. When we do that, we're able to actually do things a lot longer when they are fun anyhow. So we're actually able to show up in a space where it is fun. So I loved all of them, darling. Really, really loved them. Anything you want to leave us with? Some parting words of wisdom?
Yes, come to conference so we can all hang out.
Yes.
That would be my advice. You want to spend time with people, you want to be around good people, you want to fill up the Oprah voice, you want to like really connect and figure out who your tribe is and get to know you better and have fun, because the conference is the funnest part of the whole year, then you need to be at conference and come and hang out with us all and get to just live and have fun and be around family. It's cool.
It's the biggest party. It is. It's like one big family reunion, really. And it's in 10 weeks' time. So it's kind of a bit scary. It's in 10 weeks, guys. So get your ticket. Payday was yesterday.
Yes, I got
and
mine.
Just come hang out with us. And that. And then you'll be able to go up and say, hi, Jade, I watched your live.
Exactly.
Exactly. Thank you so much, darling. I really appreciate your time. You're awesome. And yeah, continue having fun and doing what you're creating, because you're on a roll, girl.
I will. Thank you. See you, everyone.
Big hugs. God bless. Bye. Bye.